The BMA dispute is one of the most important in recent times. Isn't it something? It's a non-TUC affiliate that is showing everybody else the type of militant action that is required in order to stop the government. You know what? At the TUC General Council on Wednesday, I'm sure Mark will mention it, PCS and the FBU formally proposed that the TUC call a National Day of Action in support of the Unfortunately enough, not only was that not agreed, but half the room attacked us for making the proposal. Now that tells us a lot about the state the movement is in at the moment. I can tell you from personal experience why it's essential not only do the junior doctors win, but we nail the lies that are coming from the Tory government. I'm waiting for a heart transplant. This machine that keeps me alive dangling around my neck powers an artificial heart put in by surgeons and doctors and nurses that kept me alive in a life-saving operation. And do you know what? After my surgery, I was in hospital for 13 weeks. And do you know something? That 13 weeks included Saturdays and Sundays. And do you think, on a Friday, the nurse came round and said, "Sorry, Mr. Sewotka, we're turning the lights off now. You're going to have to feed yourself tomorrow and Sunday, and if you need a pill, look it up on Google." Of course they didn't. I had the same care on a Saturday and Sunday, brilliant care, from people who are underappreciated by filthy Tory politicians that I had on a Monday to Friday. So we know the government is lying. And we know the doctors need to win their dispute. While I'm at it, let's make one other connection. When I had my operation, the surgeon who operated on me was from China. My cardiologist was from India. My junior doctor was from Croatia. And when I came round off the morphine, I tell you what I thought. Thank God these migrants came to this country, and thank God they're integrated. So when we see people living in the squalor of Calais, people who are desperate to come to this country and start a new life, perhaps we should be saying louder, who's to say the next heart surgeon, nurse, teacher, professor isn't now living in squalor, who are desperate for a new life, and it's time to show them more compassion. I want to wrap all this up with a certain thought that hopefully other speakers can also comment on and you can take back to your workplaces and discuss. If we've got the biggest assault on working people that we have seen in generations, if we've got a government ideologically committed to destroying the trade union movement, a government that is determined to make those who have the least pay the price for the folly of those at the top, we have to start realising that the trade union movement in the last 5 years has not been up to the mark in terms of challenging what the government is doing. And what I mean by that is not that you haven't been up to the mark, not the shop stewards in the hospitals and colleges and car plants. It's the leaders of our movement who are not prepared to call the action that we require in order to win. It really isn't rocket science to go. If teachers are striking to stop forced academisation to defend their terms and conditions, doctors are striking, civil servants have to strike to defend their redundancy payments, if local government workers are having their jobs slashed, if people in education are having their pay cut, isn't it obvious if we all strike together, we can stop the Tories in their tracks and we can change the lives. My last point is this: if it's that obvious to us, if it's that obvious in every meeting that I ever go around and address the length and breadth of the UK, why isn't it obvious to our fellow leaders? Well, I'll let you in on a private conversation that I'm about to make public. During the pension strike in 2011, the General Secretary of the TUC, Brendan Barber, who this week signed a joint letter with David Cameron talking about workers' rights that should make all of our stomachs turn, said to me, when I was arguing about coordinated action over pensions, "Mark, you just don't get it." He said, since the miners were defeated in 1984, there is no prospect that industrial action can ever stop a government from implementing its policies. Now, if that is the leadership, the then leadership of the TUC, if that demoralisation infects those people who really should know better. It explains why we do not see the action that most rank and file stewards and members see as obvious. So we have got to say, we have got to make the argument that we are prepared to argue and strike and campaign together. And I hope, therefore, that if you're in Unison, or PCS, or the GMB, the NUT, Unite, or whatever union you are, we all go back to our workplaces and we say this: is austerity fair? No. Who's paying the price? Us. Is it time we did something about it? Yes. Let's come together, unite in our struggles, ensure the junior doctors win, the teachers win, and all of us can stand together, defeat the government, support Jeremy Corbyn, who wants to see a different type of Britain, and then all of us can say, 2016 was the time the tide turned. The time we had politicians in the Labour front bench who actually supported strikes rather than condemned strikes, a trade union movement that finally found its confidence, and all of us come together and we can look back and say, this was the year it changed, or if we do nothing, we will remember this as a further year of demoralisation and further cuts. I know what I'd rather see, I know what you would rather see. Let's stick together, make it happen, support the doctors in the here and now, and let's ensure we stop the government in its tracks and get rid of Cameron and all the things.